Welcome to the next in a series of podcasts. My name is Jamie Austin, and I'm with PSP Turnkey Solutions. With me today is our PSP member, Eric Goodstein of VoiPX. So welcome, Eric.
Hey, Jamie. Thanks for having me on the show.
It is our honor and our privilege, and let's see how good you do. So we're going to count on you to tell us all about telephone systems. So are you ready?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to start with a hard one. What's the difference between my old-fashioned rotary telephone and your new telephone systems?
Oh, I mean, the industry's evolved a lot since those days, Jamie. Hopefully we're not dating you too much here.
I hope not.
So, I mean, voice over IP is a technology. So VoIP stands for Voice over Internet Protocol. And in layman's terms, essentially what that means is we're putting our phone calls over the internet. So that gives a lot of flexibility, a lot of features. One of the most important features that we're able to do is we're able to have our customers have their phone system anywhere. So many of our customers choose to pick up the phone off their desk, bring it home, and then they're using their phone from their home office. Alternatively, some of our savvier customers prefer to use our cell phone application, where you actually put a app on your existing cell phone, and you're actually able to use your business phone number. You're able to make calls, receive calls, just as if you're in the same building, even when you're not in the building. So there's a lot of.
So I want to stop you there for a second, because you went right to turn over all the cards and go to one of my big questions, and that is, the popularity of working from home these days. So you're saying to me that if I'm using a voice over IP system via the internet, I could have my phone anywhere as if it was in the office.
Absolutely.
And it's my extension, and my dialing out is through the regular phone system. Phone calls in is through the regular phone system. So it's no different than being at my desk.
Absolutely. And more than that, if you have some of our customers will have different business entities for different reasons. So we're actually able to give them the ability to dial out from each of their different businesses, or receive calls and identify those calls from each of their different businesses, all from the convenience of their home.
I feel like a Progressive commercial now, and that's where the guy says, you don't have to leave them your phone number because it's on the phone. So you're saying that you can program what it says on my what it says who I am when I'm calling.
Yeah, so it would be the caller ID, but we could also use different phone numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we could obviously program the caller ID, but if you wanted to dial out from a different business, we're not going to change the caller ID on that phone number. We're just going to have you dial out from a different line. So it's not like you're only limited to one specific line when you're working from home. If you have different businesses and entities that you need to make phone calls with.
Very interesting. I never even thought about it from that standpoint. That's cool. But go back to like that I was obviously joking when I'm saying my dial phone, though I do remember that rotary phone, and I even remember my own phone number at home many years ago. Besides the point is, a phone used to, make calls, get calls. Your phones these days, your office phone systems, obviously do much more than that. And again, not only can it be remote, but what are some of the features and some of the benefits of an advanced telephone system?
Sure. So one of the things, and it still touches on the work from home element, is we could record all the calls. So call recording in some states is legal. You only need one party consent. In other states, you will need two-party consent, meaning both parties have to agree to the recording. Mm-hmm. And if you're going between states, the rules get a little dicey. So like if I'm calling from New York to New Jersey, then it falls under different rules than if I was just calling from New York to New York. But that's a great feature, because as a supervisor, as an employer, you still have the ability to monitor your employees' calls from home. And it's just very nice. But more than that, if you want, we have features where you could come in, and you could come in as a supervisor. You could listen in and eavesdrop on the call in real time. So you could keep track of what your employees are doing. Though some of our clients don't like that feature and it's not for their business. So we also have the ability to disable that feature. So that's a really nice suite for the management. as well as being able to look back at call logs and see, who called who, when they called who. So those are great features. Other features that are popular with our system is we have the ability to do text messaging. So our clients can send text messages. That works through you're not gonna go pick up your rotary phone or your even the newer phones where they have the buttons and it says A, B, C under the 2 key. So we actually do that through our cell phone applications. The one we were talking about where you could put on your cell phone, but there's also a version where you can put it on your computer and it opens up essentially a chat box. And with that chat box, you're able to send text messages. We take it a step further. We actually query for the caller ID. Even like on my cell phone, it's not looking up the caller ID on text messages. So we're actually able to look up the caller ID, see, with some degree of certainty, that the text came from this person, even though they're not in my contact book, and able to identify that.
Well, talk about that when you said contact book. So I've got Outlook. I've got thousands of names in my contacts. Are you able to connect the phone system to that contact list so that when that person calls, it could tell me it's that person?
So if you're using the soft phone applications, we absolutely could do that. You would just sync your Outlook with your phone, and then and then it's actually searching the database within your phone. And if you're on a PC or a Mac, you could actually download the contacts from Outlook, then you would upload them into the application. And then we could also add it to the phones, but it depends on how many contacts you have. There's some certain limitations, and I know Jamie, you know everyone, so we might not be able to get everyone another time. But on the physical desk ones, there's buttons, and you could see, you're not going to see that line 1 is in use, but you're actually going to see who in your business is on the phone, and we could also program buttons on the phone so that you can you could have speed dials. So there's lots of great features there.
All right, so Eric, you were talking about text messaging. So on the screen here, you're showing me looks like a keyboard phone and some messages.
Yeah, so this is our messaging platform on our PC application. So we use Bria Enterprise for this, and you could see right here within the screen the person that is sending the text messages. We were doing some tests here, and he just said the word "in," and then we're testing. We even got some emojis here that he's testing with. So I could basically test back and forth, and you'll see when I send the message, it'll show me, saying test. And now that person is going to be receiving that test message. So it's you could basically send back and forth. And this person, Artie, he's not actually in my contacts. This was pulled up by the system. And basically by doing a caller ID name lookup, and it figured out that his phone number up here is actually correlated to his name based on pulling the caller ID records. And then just going back to the soft phone. So this app right here, this matches my desk. It's just the same as me having a phone on my desk, and we're able to make and receive calls. And if someone were to call me, I could do it right now. You'll see that my phone will ring. So you can see right there on the screen, it's coming up, and you could hear my desk phone ringing too. But you should be able to hear all of the audio. And if I were to answer the call, but you could actually see the calls up. We could start a call recording here. We could do a conference call here. We can transfer the call to someone else in the office. So it's not like it's coming to my cell phone on the app or my desktop app and it dies there. We still have the ability to move it around the business, which is a great feature. Talking about the different buttons on the phones, and this is a quick image from the brochure, but you basically on all of our phones here, you have these buttons on the side of the screen, and any one of these buttons can be programmed for various different functions. So we could program to see, hey, Jamie's on the phone, I shouldn't disturb him or transfer a call to him. So I know, and then maybe the next one and shows Dan, and it shows his button will be lit up green. And that means that he's available and anyone could transfer into him. We also have the ability to kind of a lot of the newer VoIP systems, they added this feature called Park. These people wanted to have the ability to put a call on hold and have anyone in the business pick it up. So we also program these buttons as park keys. They put it in park 1 or park 2. It's basically you're parking a call there and anyone can pick it up. Whereas we also have this pause button here, which is a private hold. So we always say that's great for, you know, a lawyer dealing with a confidential matter and you don't want someone else in the business to intercept that call accidentally. Now this is only that person can pick up the call. So it gives you some variety in what you could do. The buttons can also be used to program as speed dials. We also have intercom features, which we could use those buttons for. And there's just a whole array of different things that we can program these soft keys to help out our clients with.
So I see a couple of other buttons on there. Below the one with the circle, there's a headphone. I'm assuming then we can attach a headphone to this.
Yes, so all of our phones could use wired headphones. They actually have Bluetooth built into most of our phones. So you can use a Bluetooth headset, or on the higher end, we have the electronic switch headsets, which use DEC 6.0 technology, which is the same technology used for the handheld phones that run around your house. So, and that's the highest quality and the greatest range, but it also comes at a very expensive premium. They're often more expensive than the phones themselves. Those headsets.
Now people use cell phones, and talk about that for the moment, because I used to be able to push a button on my desktop phone that would transfer the call to my cell phone. So if I was, you know, if I was in the middle of a call, but I had to leave, I could transfer the call to my cell phone, pick up my cell phone, and then continue the conversation and just walk away from the office. Does your system do that?
Yeah, absolutely. We could do that. That's not a problem at all. You could we could program one of those soft keys we were talking about to be a speed dial for your cell phone. You would just hit the transfer button and hit the soft key. We could transfer really to any number outside of the systems. We also, you were talking about phones that wireless phones. So we do have wireless
Right.
phones to meet that need as well, Jamie. Like you were talking about for your office. So
Right.
if you want a handheld to run around the office, we could do that. We also have Wi-Fi phones, so we really don't need any connectivity. There's a lot of different options that are available for our customers. More so going back to that work from home, most people, or a lot of people, don't have a router where they could easily wire up a phone. So a lot of people have been using these Wi-Fi phones at home so that they're able to still use it when their router's in the garage or the basement and their office is somewhere where it's just physically impossible to wire.
That's fantastic. That's that's got to be a great feature then for people who are working from home, because I'm thinking about where my router is, and to have to run a cable, that's great. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, we jokingly named this phone the COVID phone. So during
Okay.
COVID, it was how many COVID phones you sell this week?
Wow.
So,
All right. Well, there you go, folks. That's it. Everybody should have a COVID phone. So I actually got two questions for you. And again, one is from my old days is my agents would sign into the system so that we knew if they were available. If they had their lunch, they would sign out so that they wouldn't be in the call routing process. So that's one question. And then the other is, well, what do you do when you get more calls than you can handle?
yeah, so I mean, it works the same way. The agents are supposed to sign in and sign out. We can't, as a phone company, we'll never be able to solve human resource problems. So you really do have to staff your center appropriately for the volume you want, or you have to have an acceptable wait time. So that might, for some businesses, that might be 5 minutes. For some businesses, that might be 16 seconds. And you have to staff accordingly and make sure that you have the right employees to cover the wait time. We also do have some features where we could do automated callbacks, where a client can basically get a call back when they're first in line. So, and if your center staffed appropriately, they'll more or less get instantaneous results. If your center is not staffed appropriately, we've seen in a number of cases, especially when we're dealing with smaller businesses using this feature, where they might have to wait 5 or 10 minutes, but they're still next in line. Because you always get called back when you're next in line.
Again, my travel days, that's what happens when you call an airline, right? And that's why they're giving that message that says you'll be your number 600 online. It will take approximately 3 hours. Would you like to, if you press 1, we'll call you back when it's your turn. So that you're saying that you can do that, because that is so cool to me that you can keep the person in the queue in their order, and that the system will then know that even though more people come in after them, when it's their turn, they'll get called, and then your agent picks up the phone, and now you're connected. And so that now I'm not sitting on the phone for an hour waiting on hold, and my phone rings, and it's the airline calling me back.
Absolutely. And the cool part about it is the agents don't even know that it's happening. So the agents, their phone just rings when the next person in line is that turn. So it's for them, it's the same thing. They don't have to do anything extra. There's no extra work involved.
That's very cool. Again, we talk about process improvement, and that's a great system of, again, taking pressure off of your caller. They're not sitting on hold, and taking a little bit of pressure off of the agents taking the calls, because now they're not getting yelled at that I've been on hold for an hour.
Yeah, so we would call that a find me, follow me. That's I guess an industry term. Essentially what happens is like you're saying, you could set a duration, and most people don't use it to go between different groups. It's usually used, hey, first I wanted to ring my desk phone, then I wanted to ring my cell phone, then I wanted to ring my house phone. And essentially it finds you and follows you until you pick up the phone. But if you don't pick up the phone, we also have a lot of voicemail options. So you can leave voicemails, and this voicemail could be stored on the server, and you could check it on your phone, or we could actually send a voicemail to email, and you could listen to it on any device that has the speaker. And you just basically open up your email, click on, it's a .wav file, open the file up and play it, and you get to hear your message.
That's a nice feature, though, that you can hear those voicemails wherever you are. That's also very important. So knowing your client is important. So who is your ideal client?
So we really deal with clients 10 employees and up. And again, on the UCAS side, there's really no limitation to how many employees that we could deal with. Most of our business is in that 10 to 50 range, but we do have other clients that are much larger. So they're, it's something that we can handle. They're just not the norm for us.
And is there any geographic restrictions to your service?
No, we have clients in, I think, like 40 states at this point. It doesn't really matter where the client is, because everything works over the internet.
Or is there any need for hardware within an office?
Yes, so we like to think of ourselves as IT agnostic. So most of our business we partner with your IT company, and so we're going to work as a team with the IT company. And what that allows us to do is the IT company gets to manage the network, which is something they like to do. They're not threatened by us, so you don't wind up in he said, she said type arguments. But no, and we're an over-the-top service, so really we just need an internet connection.
It's no longer just a phone. It's an office equipment. It really does a multitude of things. What would you say is the greatest thing that your phones do?
Let me call you.
I love it. See, there you go. What makes VoiPX different than any other phone company?
Yeah. So Jamie, thank you for asking the question. So when we sell to a customer, we're really selling based upon the value of the company. There's a lot of companies out there where they're not going to offer you support, or they're not going to have reliability. One of my favorite things to say is, in telecom, you can get anything you want for any price. It's just a matter of whether it's going to work and who's there to support you. But the point being is, we really sell a white glove service. So our customers come to us because they don't want to do anything. So we do have fancy web portals. We have all these great tools that are self-service. If 10% of my customer base even knows a password to log into the system, that's on the high end. And the reason being is because our clients, they're busy lawyers, they're busy doctors. They don't want to be telecom engineers. They want us to do everything for them. And whether it's as simple as, hey, I'm going to be leaving the office at 5 o'clock and I want you to forward it to our after-hour service, or as complicated as, hey, we need to redesign the entire system. I don't think this is working for our clients. We're there to help support our clients, and we never charge them a penny extra for it. So it's really about that level of support. I have a guy who text messages me every Friday, and he leaves sometime between 2 and 5 on Fridays and says, can you forward the calls to my cell phone? And we do that. So, and that's a service you're not going to get from many of our competitors. In fact, we're seeing competitors offer less and less service to the point where a lot of them have been getting rid of the phone channel. So you can only open up support tickets via email or via text message or via chat, and there's no one you could talk to on the phone. And
So you have people that I can call and say I have a problem.
yes, we have people you could call and say you have a problem. Everyone we have is based in the United States of America. We don't hire people overseas to answer the phones. So it's just a different level of service.
Now, on the other side, again, going back to my travel days, is when it would snow, our agents would work from home.
Yep.
Any difference?
No, they can work from home. No one would ever know they're not in the office. They can use the soft phones that we talked about a little earlier, or they can use they could actually have their desk phones at home. Some of our customers choose to always have a desk phone at home. A lot of lawyers, for instance, they have a phone in their office, they have a phone at their house, they work from home half the time. So if you're going to be working from home a significant amount of time, having a phone is nice. If it's every now and then, the soft phone is great. The soft phone is typically meant as a supplement, at least the one on the cell phone. The one that's on the desktop is often used a little more seriously, but the cell phone is meant to supplement your service. You have it, right on your cell phone. You make and receive calls, and it's great.
Talk about cost, because we haven't talked about the cost of all of this. We're now talking about I'm having a phone in the house, a phone in the office, a phone in the house. Everybody has a phone, and everybody has two phones. All of a sudden, I got a lot of phones, a lot of hardware. What's the cost of all of this?
So the industry average is $20 to $30 per user per month. We actually, in some cases, we're able to save customers a significant amount of money. Customer coming from an older phone system, there's really no out-of-pocket expense. There's very minimal startup costs. So typically, if you had a PBX system in your business, you paid $20, $30, $40,000 to get it set up initially, buy all the hardware and everything, and then you still have to pay for phone lines with Optimum or Verizon, or I guess Comcast or Spectrum, depending on where you're at. So you still have all those monthly costs on top of the cost of the system. So often we're able to come in lower than what you're paying monthly for your current system, or the same, and we're able to save money. We have had scenarios where we've saved people $20,000 a month. That's the anomaly, but it definitely has happened.
Eric, when choosing a telephone provider, what should you be most aware of?
Well, I want to say taxation without representation, but it's really the misrepresentation of the taxation information. So what you often see is when you get a quote from a provider, you are going to be given a price, so say $300 a month, and then they're going to say in really small, tiny print, taxes and fees not included. Now, me as a layman, normally before I was in the industry, I would say, okay, it's probably about 10%. So my $300 is really $330 a month. But when you're talking telecom, that's not the case. Taxation on telecom is upwards of 30%. That's 30%. So, and trying to figure out how you get 30% is almost impossible. Even us as a phone company, we can't do it. We have a computer algorithm that does it for us. So it's really important that you make sure that you are being shown what the estimated taxes and fees are. And for those of you nonprofits out there listening, you do not get a full tax discount. Whether you're a foreign government, a 401c3, an embassy, a church, no one gets the government taxes and fees removed from their bill. So there will be some smaller deductions like the state and local taxes that can be removed, but the majority of the federal taxes that are on telecom cannot be removed for anybody for any reason.
Wow, that's interesting. All right. Well, remember, it's taxation without the dial tone. Anyway, thank you, Eric. We greatly appreciate your taking the time to speak with us today and talking about telephone systems. And that is, we go from the rotary phone to your very sophisticated office phone systems that do more than just answering calls and making calls. So I greatly appreciate it, and I thank you very much.
Thanks, Jamie. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today.
All right. So remember, if you're interested in learning more about PSP Turnkey Solutions, you can reach out to me, Jamie Austin, at 631-241-3958, or Jamie, that's JAMIE at PSP Turnkey Solutions. Again, thank you, Eric, and everybody have a great day.